This is quite possibly one of the coolest bowling alleys I've ever been to, and not just because of this neon sign here in downtown Asheville, North Carolina. I mean, the sign is cool enough, right?
Let's go adventuring Asheville, North Carolina. If you've never been to Asheville, North Carolina, make a side trip. The neon is pretty neat, and the signs and the whole vibe of the town itself, especially downtown area, is really cool.
If you're a fan of Jeff Bridges' Big Lebowski, I think you're going to like this mural on the side of the bowling alley. We got Jesus here. You don't want to mess with him, all right? And then we're going to keep going and keep going. Don't pay attention to the dumpster. Oh, it's the Duke, or Deuterino, if you're into the whole brevity thing. This is quite possibly the coolest piece of graffiti art, and we're going to give our props to Lord Gus on this one. Just wow. And it's on the side of a bowling alley. I got to do one quote. Yeah, like he pissed on my rug, man. That rug tied the room together. This is amazing. This is the Sky Lanes in downtown Asheville, North Carolina.
Well, of course I had to go in and play some bowling.
What's up, adventurers? So I just found this here in Asheville, downtown Asheville. It's the old Mountaineer Inn, and it's got like hillbilly looking guys on it. The place is long since abandoned, and it's literally, they had at one point neon all over it with hillbilly looking guys, almost Rip Van Winkle. And then over here, same type of deal. There's more. It looks like I'd say this place has been out of business for quite some time, but I bet the neon looked really cool when it lit up back in the day.
So apparently it did and or does still light up. I wasn't there at night, but here's some of the photos of the Mountaineer Inn neon lit up. The hotel's kind of like in a limbo right now of ownership and people trying to decide exactly what to do with it. It looked like it maybe had been under renovation.
Here in Asheville, this is I think it's a high school, and they have a muffler man, one of the indigenous people muffler men. They've actually given him some regalia, and the one in Cherokee didn't have this, but here he is. I'll do a little more research on him and see where he's from originally, if this is where he was at, but they've definitely updated him, and he looks pretty decent. I like it. I think this is their mascot.
Being in Asheville and only being about 35 minutes to an hour away from the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, it's really hard not to hop on the Blue Ridge Parkway and go back down there for some hiking, which is what we did.
What's up, adventurers? Today we are back at Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and this is the Oconaluftee River Trail, as this park always delivers. Take a look we got a couple of trail visitors with us here hanging out. So in the 90s, I know this because I read a book about this, they reintroduced elk back into the park. They were almost hunted to extinction during the, I guess you could call it the settling of the lands and the indigenous people being removed and Europeans coming in. Well, elk were almost hunted into extinction, and there were elk and there were a ton of wolf also. Now they tried to reintroduce wolf back into the population, in the 90s as well, but it didn't go well. But the elk reintroduction actually went well. And as you can see, this one's actually got a tag and a tracker on it. And the rangers do that just to see where they go, make sure they don't go onto any ranchers' lands and things like that. We were out here the other day and there was an actual male just chilling, 14 point male. And these are some females just chilling here and doing what ungulates do. They're just eating some grass and leaves and hanging out. And you know, you kind of have to let them do their thing. But yeah, they reintroduced these guys back in like the 80s and 90s, I want to say, in my book called Bear in the Back Seat. Highly recommend reading this book. But here they are, and she's just chilling. I always say that elk are a combination of like a horse and a deer. They've got like the snout of a horse, but the body of a deer. Here's another one over here, chilling out. In the evenings, they'll come out and eat a little bit.
This is the Akona Lufty Visitor Center Trail. It goes around the visitor center and to the outskirts of the park. It's about 3.5 miles, and it's a great way to start if you're just looking for something to stretch your legs a little bit and do an easy trail to build up to one of the bigger mountain hikes, which is what we did, or some of the waterfall hikes. It starts just behind the visitor center. You're going to pass the log cabins, and you're going to keep walking. It's going to follow the river. You're going to start seeing some KOA camping areas, dispersed camping. You'll see people tubing down the river. But it's really peaceful and really quiet. As earlier we showed you, we passed some elk that were cooling off there in the shade because it was really hot that day. But if you can find a good tree canopy hike to do, it's a little more manageable. But we got to see wild turkey on this trail, female elk, and then later in the evening we actually saw a male elk on this same area where they tend to come and eat and things like that. But highly recommend this trail if you're just looking for something to start your day off with, which is what we did, and then built to a bigger one. Another little friend here on trail. This is a box turtle. I'm gonna help him across because he's right in the middle of the trail.
You gonna get him?
Yeah. There we go.
There's another trail up here though.
After going to the Akona Lufty Visitor Center Trail, we headed to the Rainbow Falls Trail. You have to actually leave the park, go through Gatlinburg, and then you take a U-turn back into the park to get to this one.
"5 miles. I did it. Whew. 5 miles up. It was not easy."
This is Rainbow Falls itself. It was a 5.10 mile hike in about 80-90% humidity, 90 degrees. It was a hard uphill hike, but worth every minute of it.
5 miles. I did it. Whew. There's a chipmunk over here. He's coming over because he wants to be fed. That's why they call it the Great Smoky Mountains. There's a ton of mountain over that. There's some more of it over here. These mountains are so old. And worn down by erosion and everything else. coming back down a mountain to go see a waterfall, which was nice. 5 miles up. Butterfly here, if you'll cooperate. Look at this guy. He's got a beautiful blue on him. He's not cooperating. I don't blame him. All right. End up with about 6 miles here when done. Thank you for adventuring with me.